Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to our continuing coverage of the final day of PSIfest 2023 here in Charlottesville, Virginia. We are joined by Johua Louis. We had you on for Finding Hope.
Yeah.
It's great to see you here, number one. I thought it was really interesting to see paranormal work coming into this, coming into the world, and coming into the world of remote viewing. Well, I mean, we were just talking with Pam Coronado about the concept of precognitive dreaming, things like that, and how it's different from remote viewing.
Yeah.
But that led her to the world of remote viewing.
Interesting.
You know?
Yeah.
And even the conversation you were just having a second ago as I pulled you over here regarding working on a remote viewing case and asking your spirit guides to help you with that.
Yep.
How have you, number one, how have things been going with HOPE Paranormal?
Good. I mean, I'm just, just trying to improve the programs I'm working on that we're using the HOPE Spirit Box app and the HSB Pro and trying to get that going. It was really great yesterday being able to share the work that I've been doing with a group that I'm not, may not be at first kind of open to what I'm showing all the way, but people received it pretty well, I felt.
I would think so. Well, I mean, especially when there's a demonstration about influencing a random number generator last night. So I can't see how they wouldn't be able to possibly influence your materials, influence your systems, things like that, which I'm sure is one of the great curiosities you have about the marriage of your technology and remote viewing.
Yep. I mean, I love remote viewing. I've done some with Deborah before, and I've been very successful with the targets that I was viewing. I've done some astral projection. I've done some telekinesis, some PK work. So all of that stuff was because of kind of working with Deborah and testing all these different areas and seeing what I could do, what I could affect.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because one of the things we discuss regularly is the concept of not just paranormal, ghost spirits, things like that, not exist. But is it the fact of when you bring a group of people into a location like you did last night, is their preconceived notion of that manifesting what's there,
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. Last night we did an investigation, kind of a loose investigation. It really wasn't like an actual paranormal investigation. It's more of like we're going to do sessions and trying to, the paranormal investigation, sometimes it's a lot of sit and wait and do nothing and wait for something to happen.
No, that's just it. Like you could be there 12, 14 hours, 3 days in a row.
You're waiting for something to move.
Get EVP, nothing.
Right. I'm going in with the intent of we want to communicate. We're coming with love and respect. We're not trying to kick you out. We're not trying to figure everything out. We just know some of you may want to have a voice or want to, and so I go in there and, with just a few hours, we had 30 people or whatever it was. I did some initial sessions and we got some instant direct communication. I mean, it was a woman. She was polite. She was answering us. And then after, I'd say 10 minutes, I said, is there anything else that you want to say? And through the app, she said, no, thank you very much. Very kind, and we kind of felt okay to now move about to the other areas of the house. And people started breaking off into pods, of 5 or 4. And they started using my app. And they'd come running back out in the hallway. They just said this. They just said that. We got this, So everyone started getting their own communication with a spirit or two somewhere in the house. Because there was more than one. I mean, there was plenty of spirit,
I mean, they're all around us all the time.
Right.
They're all around us all the time. To think otherwise is silly.
Yeah.
It's like saying, nah, that atom isn't there.
Right.
No, so when you're using the app specifically, how do you go about setting that up and getting it prepped to start a session?
It's great. It's a great question. So, again, the app has no words in it, period. There's no words in the app. So all the sounds that are built in, the sound sources are just gibberish sounds that sound like human. They're human sounds, but no words. So, again, the only way this really works is by tapping into our own intuitive ability. And some say, "Oh, I'm not psychic. I don't know what I have." You do. You all have that.
Yeah.
Everyone has it, whether you've discovered it or not,
Our
whether it's
brains
super strong.
They're just big transducers.
That's really the case.
Big radio signals.
Right.
It's a big antenna.
The heart and the brain are there's a receiving an antenna and receiving situation going on there. So initially, we have to just make some kind of initial connection or attempt to connect in a way of just saying, I have to close my eyes. I have to look into my mind's eye in the space around me and see if I'm feeling anyone coming in. Is it male? Is it female? Is it older? Is there something going on? Got to at least make a little attempt. And then you can choose one of the sound banks I have that's a man and woman voice mixture, because you don't know who you're getting maybe.
Sure.
Or you may say, hey, I feel a woman. And if you feel a woman, then you want to choose a woman sound bank.
Okay.
And then put that on and say, hey, I'm feeling a woman. I feel maybe an initial of an E or a whatever, and then you open it up and you try it and you give a couple responses. A lot of times you're not going to hear everything in real time, so you really kind of have to go off some of your ability, maybe what you hear, but know that you're really there collecting data, and you're going to go home later on and check it out. And that's where a lot of the gold is found.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And what is the process of analyzing that data once you get it back home from the app?
Yeah, I mean, it's really just making sure you're in a quiet space. Normally, I don't like to review the footage or any of it that day or night of. So I'd like to get to the next day and removed from any kind of feeling that I felt there.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of a fresh ears, fresh mind.
Good.
And it's going to take a couple days because you're going to listen to some stuff, think you hear something, think you see something or whatever it is.
Yep.
You need to leave it alone again for another day or so and go back to it.
Yeah.
And that's how I do it. And then I just, that's how I go about it, because I feel I'm a lot more thorough and objective when reviewing.
That's right. Well, I mean, I used to tell bands I recorded the same thing whenever I'd hand them the CD or DVD, like, don't go home and watch this.
Yeah.
You will destroy yourself tonight.
Yeah,
You will destroy yourself. Don't do that.
Same premise.
Don't watch it tomorrow. Like, get together at rehearsal Wednesday.
Be fresh.
And watch it.
Yeah.
Watch
I
it
like
with
that.
Totally fresh eyes.
True.
And it's the same thing, because if you, even the next day, even 2 days later, like, you may still be jazzed about something that you experienced there, something like that, and it will color your result.
I agree.
It will color your result.
I agree.
And that's always an issue that I've had watching any paranormal show with people, things like that, where they're reviewing for, rewind that. No.
Yeah.
No. I'm sorry, folks. That's done for the show, for Verve, and everything else. But
it's like urgency and stuff. It's not needed when you're doing this. You really want to take your time.
Well, and like you said, objectivize it. You want to be as far removed from it as possible.
Right.
Do you ever go through and swap that data with somebody else to? Instead of looking at your own data. Well, I mean, even without looking at yours, hand it over to somebody else to look at first.
No, I got to be honest. I don't do that.
Okay.
There's very few that I'm going to be honest. There's very few that I could trust where I respect or value their opinion in evidence review.
All right.
I think there's a lot of people out there. I'm going to be honest. I think there's a lot of people out there, and I don't knock them. I'm not condemning anyone. I think there's a lot of people interested in doing this kind of thing and starting to do it. But I listen and I'm going, if you're not slowing down, if you're not at least trying to isolate these things, if you're not trying to display it in a way that it's a little bit more helpful for us to understand it. A lot of people aren't going to understand what they're watching. So, I mean, maybe there is some value in just releasing the raw footage, and I think that that's cool too. I'm not knocking that.
No, absolutely not.
But I think it kind of does ITC an injustice too. If you're not, if someone goes onto my channel and they watch any of my sessions, they should get a really nice picture, an understanding in a 10 or 15 minute video of what I just did in that session.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there isn't going to be long swaths of nothing. I do cut out a lot of dead air. so that you don't have a 45-minute video of nothing going on.
Sure.
It's not to entertain you, but just to at least let you get to what's important in the session that I found. That's all.
Well, because you've got to get to the point of processing at some point.
Yeah.
You've got to move that along. So
I believe that. Yeah.
I see that absolutely for the videos that you're making.
Yeah.
The reason you're making them.
Yeah.
And, I've always found the techniques that some people use in the field a little spurious, and like you said, it's hard to trust a lot of people. I've lost a lot. I mean, there's a lot less people that I follow now than I used to. Yeah, because it's just I've kind of seen, and I kind of hate that. Is that a disillusionment on you? I got to tell you, it's caused me to feel a little uninspired at times, or just a little disheartened. Yeah, I mean, it's like it's kind of like the infightings within the community. It really is like that. Where we were kind of talking about that yesterday a little bit. We are helping none of this community or the research it's trying to do by doing this. I agree. None. I agree. None. Like the crazy people that were emailing the NASA panel. Yeah, before it happened, that's going to help. That'll help get the scientists aboard. Right. I mean, that's going to. It's hard, man. I got to tell you, I love this work, and it's so rewarding, and it's beautiful. But when I keep away from people sometimes, and I just kind of stay to what I'm doing, and or I get to come around some good people that I trust, that I feel re-inspired, re-energized, then it's great. But when it's dealing with certain aspects of this can be really crappy sometimes, I guess. Yeah. And it's the human aspect. It's not the spirit side. No. Yeah, exactly. It's not the spirits that are the a-holes. Yeah. I agree, man. Yep. And with that in mind, how often is it that you maybe find a malignant spirit or anything like that? That's a good question. In the beginning, I used to find more. Okay. I used to get more. I used to come in contact, I believe, with more. As time progressed, and I made my intention clearer, and I set my intention in a clearer way, and I just don't get the riffraff much. All right. If I do get someone or I get something negative, it's more on a human spirit level, where it's more like their personality and they're not dealing with something well on the other side. And they may be sometimes critical of how I'm running the session. They may say, you're not hearing me, you're not listening, or I'm, this is difficult or something. That's not what I meant. Yeah, it's not even like, I don't get that demonic negativity. I just don't get that anymore. Well, like you said, that definitely has to do with your intention. And I believe it does. Your intention and how you move forward with that. Is it also, I guess, a focusing of skill over the years as well? I would say possibly, Chris. Yeah, I would say, that's a possible situation. I think that the more I've done it, I think that it's definitely helped me focus and stay more on a more narrow road, I guess. Narrow the bandwidth. And I'm not veering off, and so now there's not, more room for error, I guess. Rifle instead of shotgun. Yeah, I think so. And I feel very strong in my protection and my connection with my higher power, which plays a big role in that. It does. It does. I mean, whether you're following a Buddhist path, Zen path, doesn't matter. It's about your grounding and your grounding in yourself. That's 100%. And now, when it comes to that, how does the presence of other people play into a session for you? That's interesting. I'm going to give you an example. I do a lot of sessions for people that are looking for their loved ones. It's private sessions through Zoom. I give them a meditation for them to do. We get on the Zoom. We ask for the loved one. It is so rare. It is so rare that someone doesn't come through. And then I did this session a few months ago for a woman who her husband died of cancer. And I mean, this is like 2 out of 500. This has happened, like in a really weird way. And she, I can immediately tell she was very grief stricken, which is understandable, but she was really needy.
Like she really she was like, where is he and why is he not? I don't feel him around. He needs to be here with us and helping our family and all this. And I was thinking internally as I was like,
wow, that's rough.
That's rough to be calling on your loved one and acting like he needs to still be at home, kind of providing like a living almost. Like this man, died of cancer.
Yeah.
And he should be able to kind of...
That's a sad sense of abandonment.
It is.
It really is. It really is.
And she was just a little bit like...
Did that affect the reading?
It did.
Yeah.
And so he came through and he didn't want to talk to me.
Did he lay it down?
Yeah, he didn't want to talk to me, number one. He really wasn't in the mood to talk to me, one.
Wow.
2, he said, there's nothing but death around her. Like the feeling of death around her. And he goes, I want to travel the cosmos. I can't be there right now. And she did not accept that message.
Wow.
She was pissed.
Oh, man.
And so this is bull crap. Why would, and this is a weird story to tell, but I mean, I'm just being blunt honest. Like, that is like a 2 out of 500 situation. I mean, it's only happened one other time where the person didn't want to talk.
Yeah.
But man, and she goes, this isn't my husband. I go, okay, I don't know. Maybe it's not.
Yeah.
But the answers were they weren't like, I don't know you and I don't know who this is or anything. It was like I love you and I do stop in, but this is too much.
Yeah.
You want too much from me.
Too thick. And
I can understand that too.
Well, we have a tendency as people, period. There's that whole Jerry Maguire concept of you complete me.
Oh,
that is the heaviest thing in the world to put on somebody, dude. That means that you are not a complete individual coming to the table.
Well said. Well said. No, it's true.
That is a heavy burden to place on somebody.
Very codependent. Still on someone who's in the afterlife. Yeah. That's too much.
That's thick, man.
That is very... Let the man explore the cosmos. The man died of cancer. Yeah. He's got to still live at home.
He couldn't have gone through more trauma before his parting. Yeah, And do you find a difference with spirits that do die in that way, that die through a means of suffering or anything like that? Do you find a different connection with them?
No. I mean, if someone dies in a real traumatic way, drug overdose, maybe murder, a sudden car accident when they were on the way to something important or whatever, those unexpected deaths are really tough on the person in the afterlife at first. Because they're trying to accept what just happened. Yeah. Maybe they're looking at how their family is dealing with the sudden loss, and that's causing them pain.
Absolutely.
So there's all of that.
Yeah.
When you got someone that passes in their older age, that's been on the bed, that's been visited by the family.
White light family on the other side.
There's a lot of acceptance going on, and there's a lot of peace.
That's beautiful. So, that's beautiful.
Yeah,
that's great to hear. That's really amazing. It's hard to quantify these things, we're left behind and they're left somewhere else. You know?
Right. But the evidence now, it's no longer just through readings that I'm gathering the information. It's not just through a feeling. It is a very much it's evidence now. I have compiled enough data to say this person, these type of people that die like this are doing better. These type of people still have some growth and some time before they're in the level of acceptance.
Yeah. And just before we got over here, hit record, you were having a conversation that I sidled up in.
Yep.
And you were talking about spirit guides, and even spirit guides in the world of remote viewing work, and the idea of, like, if you have a spirit guide, hey, ask them for your help in a session.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And, how does one, I guess, identify their spirit guide? A, does everybody have a spirit guide? B, how do you identify them?
I believe if you're doing nothing with your life, and I say that meaning like if you're staying at home and watching TV all the time and just barely, you're working and going home and not trying to do anything, not meditating, not praying, you do have someone, but I don't think they're going to be always around you because you're kind of in a very inactive state.
You ain't flexing it.
Right. Once you start getting some hunger to, go after some more spiritual stuff and start seeking, you will be sent or that guide will come into the picture more. If you start working on a certain project, you could say, hey, I'm working on a project. Can my higher, God, can you send me a guide that can help me? You really got to have a connection with a higher power, regardless of whether, like you said, Buddha, Jesus, Allah, Krishna. I don't care.
I don't care if it's the tree next door.
If it's the tree next door, I don't care. But have some kind of grounding and connection, conscious connection to that higher power. Ask for angelic or spirit guide help. You will get it, and you don't always have to identify who it is. If you have a faith and you're building on that faith, keep building on it and keep trusting that you will be given the help. That's what my experience has shown me.
Okay. And how do you, I guess, identify the presence of your spirit guide? For those who are uninitiated, don't know that, like, Johnny just popped in, I mean,
really just a couple moments of closing your eyes and focusing, bringing yourself to, the space within, behind your forehead, kind of like a little, I've always had this, especially after working with Deborah Lynn Katz, PhD, I've always had this little space that I can go to within my head. It's like a little bat cave.
And a place that you have constructed for your work.
Yes, and so I may check in with that and see if there's a guy there. Sometimes I don't see I don't see specific features or anything, so I just get the sense that they're there. Well, what if it's not them, and what if it's an imposter? I don't go down. I don't get that. I don't feel that, and I don't. I have a belief in my connection and in the light that I feel, and that's it. And sometimes I don't know what the heck it's all there, but I proceed forward with faith.
Well, and even keeping that thought in your mind, you are very well, once again, manifesting that.
I think so.
Just by putting that out there. Much like going into a paranormal investigation full of fear or something like that.
Correct. If you go, someone said last night they were afraid right in the beginning of the thing.
Feel free to hop on out.
And I said, don't go into it with that. You got to take a step back for a minute. If you're going to have fear, it's normal. But you gotta let it go. You gotta, because it really is the attraction for negativity.
No, precisely, and an anchor for it, and an anchor for you at that point. As people, as this stuff becomes more and more popular, more and more mainstream, what do you think people can do to kind of separate the wheat from the chaff, so to speak, Joshua? What can they do to find proper investigators like you who are using proper method, who are journaling things, keeping spreadsheets of results, that kind of stuff?
I mean, there's plenty of groups out there that are doing that. I'm not going to tell you that, I do see a lot of other people that are really analytical with their data and what they're doing.
Properly so. But.
If you would have came to last night to the investigation, or if someone was there, I state up front, this is less of a paranormal investigation and more of like a session.
More of an exercise.
And it's really just, it's like, so there's plenty of people out there, I got to tell you that. Use your discernment, intuition, kind of watch and what resonates with you. If you see, that's really the best way, is to watch something. If someone says, oh, you're fake, or what are you doing, or whatever, and I say, listen, check out my stuff and watch a couple videos, and you'll know just by watching. And if you don't like what you're seeing, or if you don't feel like it's real, then then don't watch anymore, or whatever. But that's rare that someone watches my stuff or in the videos and says, oh, this is crap. I mean, in a way that they could see that I just wear my heart on my sleeve, and I really just put it out there, and it's for you to
make of it what you will.
Make of exactly.
And you do wear your heart on your sleeve. This is much more investigation for you. This is a mission.
I feel it is,
and that is great to see, especially with the creation of the HOPE Paranormal app, things like that. Joshua, let everybody know where they can go to get their copy of Finding Hope.
Finding Hope in the Afterlife is on my channel, HOPEParanormal.com. The Hope Spirit Box app is free on iOS and Android. Download it and check out the tutorial video. The HSB Pro is available all on the website, HOPEParanormal.com. But events, the book, the app, I'm going to keep working with some institutes and trying to keep doing some of these conferences and, sharing that work. Yesterday we shared that work, and it was really great. A lot of people received it. I thought so.
Well received.
I thought so. So.
And the one thing I say regularly about this field specifically of paranormal work, remote viewing, it has been quantified, and these people know what data is.
Correct.
There are more letters behind people's names than any other field.
It's true.
Any other field.
I said it. I was like, I don't have any letters behind my name, but there are plenty of people in the room that do here, and I work with one that has, and it's just, I'm going to keep doing it and keep showing people and hoping that those people keep taking notice because, they're the ones that could maybe help push this forward in some way, in the right way.
It's amazing work. You're doing great things.
Thank you,
Keep
Chris.
doing it, my man.
Always a pleasure, man. I really enjoyed our conversation yesterday and today.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Let's have one over lunch.
For sure.
Well, while you're online checking out everything from Hope Paranormal and Johua Louis, folks, make sure to stop on by Curious Realm. CuriousSrealm.com is where you can go to catch all the episodes, like, subscribe. CuriousRealm.com/store is where you can go to buy not just Joshua's book, but the books from all of our guests.
Oh, yeah.
All of the tools that we recommend, things like that. I'll have to make sure to put a link up to Hope Paranormal app in there as well.
Thanks,
man. Stay tuned through these commercial breaks, folks. We're going to go eat lunch. We're going to come back with a couple more guests as we wrap our coverage for the final day of PSIfest 2023 here in Charlottesville, Virginia with the International Remote Viewing Association and the Monroe Institute. We'll be right back after this commercial break.